to their seats. The first half, an entertaining affair. And for Brazil, well, even more entertaining. They do get the lead. Take a look here at the goal that makes the difference on the scoreboard. And again, keep an eye at the bottom. Oskar Lehmann, the Hungarian assistant, seemed to be shielded by Willian. Here he is in line with the defense, the time of Marcelo's shot. But now as he's trying to spot off on that far side, Gabriel Jesus, by the time he finally sees him, it looks like there might be 4 players keeping him on. But at the time of the initial shot, he appeared to be at least 4 yards offside. Well, does not matter. It does count. A little bit of a learning lesson for Austria. And for Brazil, it is goal number 10 for Gabriel Jesus. Fred making his way towards the bench. Saw the subject of a lot of transfer reports, the man from Shakhtar. Of course, pretty much every single one of those players in yellow will be the subject of a transfer rumor here or there. Even Neymar, you're seeing some reports of a $350 million deal to turn him into a teammate of Marcelo at Real Madrid. Still might not be enough to pry him away from PSG. Well, his counterpart on the other side, world-class left back in his own right, David Alaba, has had a good match, and you wonder whether he'll ever have the chance to show it on a world stage.
The dad just showing that young boy, this is how Neymar does it. Now, which hand is the ball in? And the kid thinks it's that one, and daddy opens it up and says, oh, see, that's exactly what Neymar does. See, that's educating your kid. Well, this team still got the blank against Austria, and that is one of the more unsung aspects of this Brazilian team, Phil. And it's pretty amazing that in the calendar year of 2017, Brazil conceded less goals in that year than in their entire history as a footballing nation, conceding just 4 goals in 11 matches. No Brazilian team's ever done that before. So for all of the hoopla, deservedly so, for his team being stardust attackers as they always are, and more additions than not, don't get excluded. That's defensively, they have proven to be pretty impervious. And then you look at the point of the pyramid where the real jewels shine, and again, how lethal was he when the door opened for him. He has had such an amazing effect with his assistance.
Silvinho looking on. Some say he might be the guy to step in and replace Tite should he move on. Some of the rumors about a move to Real, maybe to try and prime the pump for Neymar himself as a player.
Yeah. Man with a gentle touch with the squad, so that would fit in with Real Madrid's prerequisites.
Victor Kasai getting us underway. Brazil with the lead in the yellow and the blue, defending the goal towards the right. The red and white of the Austrian Mannschaft moving from left to right. Good first half for the home side.
Mannschaft, of course, Austria beat Germany just a few weeks ago in an impressive win. And then again, it's really sweet football of breaking the lines the Brazilian way. There's such tiny windows nowadays in between these defensively constructed sides that Austria is somewhat like, but they've shown that they've got a nice flair about them, trying to find the big bad boy up top in Natovic.
Liner forward. Schopp tries to sneak it through. Marcelo pinching in, but clears it right back to Austria. And as we mentioned, they are 5-0 in the 5 friendlies that Foda has led Austria. And, well, there is a victory against Luxembourg in a homegrown Slovenia squad, but they shut out the hosts in Russia and edged Uruguay 2-1 in addition to that victory over Germany.
Wow.
And given Brazil all they can handle. Too little too late for 2018, but maybe 2020.
Wonderful Marcelo.
Sneaking it through, but on the wrong shoulder of Jesus. Nice ball, Dragovic. All the way
Good
back to
sign
Victor.
for Brazil, of course, is the emergence of the 10 starting to look like he's rediscovered his fitness and his wonderful creativity. So that's good stuff from Neymar. Casemiro reaching through Schlager. I thought in lifetime it was a good challenge.
Soft touch from Arnautovic to Schlager. Take another look.
Does he come from the side? Does he get all of the ball? Maybe simultaneously. He just clips Schlager, but you can understand his response. Very close.
Arnautovic. See that wrist that is still with a cast on it. Talk about that in a moment as Alaba bounces it through. It was towards the end of the season with Watford. Ended up getting stepped on, broke a bone during West Ham's defeat at Watford, and actually told David Moyes, even with the broken arm and the swelling, don't take me out. Nice to have a player like that. Be nice to have a player like that also in Neymar.
This team's going to be fun to watch in the UEFA Nations League coming.
What do you think about that?
Good.
It's a lot of friendlies that will mean something now, but it would mean less matches like this offside, because so many of those international dates will be gobbled up inside their federations or confederations.
Oh, and you're lamenting that, all those meaningless friendlies? I agree with this. If they're going to play it, make it for a prize, make it for some prestige. Always those international friendlies. Another one? And I think the management and the players themselves will have a better attitude towards that tournament.
Nice little slip forward, but over comes Silva.
What do you think?
Well, from a big European perspective, I don't think it means much difference. If anything, as you point out, maybe it saves on travel. But if you're in the Americas, and just think about this from a South American perspective. Nice little foot change here from Liner, but he can't find a teammate.
Nothing inside of the box either.
It's pretty much more matches against the same teams, because a lot of the other confederations are starting to go with Nations Cups to fill in the gap. But if you're a team like the United States and you want to challenge a Brazil or a Germany, there won't be as many opportunities because you're going to be playing St. Lucia and Barbados.
Trinidad and Tobago.
Might want to learn how to beat them.
Exactly.
6th minute of the second half. Miranda now at Inter. like Casemiro from Sao Paulo, burst onto the scene at Atleti to the Brazilian captain. Took him a while to actually get his first cap. Now he's up to 47. And he's knocked out David Luiz and keeping Marquinhos at bay. The header on the wrong side of Arnautovic. Silva does well. Casemiro leaving it
Nicely.
Trying to lift it forward. Baumgartlinger, but it gets away.
Needed to pull out his blunderbuss here rather than the little dagger pass. Got a wonderful ball hopping up in front of him. Not much ahead of him. Little shot shy. It's a lovely touch. And again.
Eludes Hinteregger.
Oh,
out wide, Willian into the 18.
Oh,
Two tackles come through.
Fabulous again by Draganovic. Absolutely wonderful. Dragovic again. Wonderful player here today, showing how wonderful he's performed for Leicester City.
And Paulinho trying to say it's just a friendly.
Well, it's desperate defending as well, and he's got to reach in. Skips the late, fantastic there. Paulinho, Willian off like a teenager on a hot rod, and then again Dragovic steps in and says you shall not pass, and that's a little bit overly zealous. And he's right, Paulinho. Now, absolutely right. It should be a yellow card, was it not?
Was not.
There's
Loose
two
in the center
nasty
circle.
hacks through from a good player.
Baumgartlinger wins it back. Grilic into the center for Arnautovic. Serbian dad, Austrian mother, but grew up in Vienna.
Got a reputation for being a bad boy, but he says that his daughter is bringing him into check. Daddy, you can't be doing that. And Dragovic said that pressure from his daughter has cleaned up his act substantially. Well done.
Wide liner. Got to start at Salzburg in the youth system, and now back for Liner. Out for the Austrian throw-in. Almost an Iceland-like clap starting to build. Sloppy on the touch, but Danilo returns the favor.
Again, by times Danilo touched like an anvil too many times for a Brazilian player.
Again, you think it's just the right back.
Oh, touch.
Photo going into the back, and he's in the book. In the World Cup, those positions can turn into an Achilles heel.
Well, I said it in the early parts of this game, and Silva having words with the referee. The last game of these friendlies, exhibitions, is what the coaches are really have their hearts in their mouth, and he knows he can't lose him to challenges like that from the back, where the ball is played and Prodl comes through, machete out of the jock strap, and they need to cool it. The red shirts, we've seen it a number of times. Understand that they're looking at it as a real competitive game, but more respect, and it's got to be dictated by this referee, and he's producing the yellow cards, but doesn't seem to be quelling the flames too much.
Well, as you saw the tifo before the match, we are the fire, they say. Well, that little push out as Coutinho's still down, and now it looks like the Brazilians think Austria may be a little too hot.
Shops is saying that he makes more of it than it needed to be, but the real reality of it is that Shops comes through trying to reach a ball, and in regular games and regular league play, and Paulinho coming through again, you see this is out of order completely, and this referee needs to get probably the red card out sooner than later. This team in red have got nothing to play for, and this team is the favourite for the World Cup. And I understand that they don't give a damn about that, but they need to be a little bit more considerate.
Professional courtesy.
Yeah, right.
Like sharks and lawyers. Under pressure, Miranda peels away, though. Sloppy pass out. Now Austria trying to get on the break. At the same point, from an Austrian perspective, trying to impress the new man in charge.
It's a fair point, Phil. I understand it all. And the Brazilian players do as well. They've played, it's 56 minutes before they've really ganged up on this referee and said, okay, enough. But as you say, I think there's a competitive nature, and then there's a bit of a broken bottle edge, and that's what we've seen in the last few minutes from the challenges from Austria. And frustrating again, trying to get the ball from these Brazilians. What else can we do? They could say it.
Oh, through the middle, almost there, but
what a ball from Marcelo. Again, you people with your machines, take a look at that. That's a brilliant ball from Marcelo.
Arnautovic battling Miranda. Even with the broken arm, helping his opponent to his feet.
No, that's nothing to Miranda. It's Internazionale, man. Started his Brazilian trek with Cordoba.
Changes starting to come in. And for Austria, Stefan Hierlander and Guido Bergstaller will check in. Hierlander for Schopf, the 27-year-old from Sturm Graz. And Schlager to be replaced by the 29-year-old from Schalke. 19th cap for Bergstaller. Spent some time at Cardiff before heading to Germany. Just the second cap for Hierlander. Former Salzburg and Leipzig man. And again, Sturm Graz, which is back in Foda's neck of the woods. Six subs, 4 to go, and still awaiting our first for Brazil. You'd imagine some players like a Neymar might be wrapped up in wool. Others, like a Jesus, to give Firmino a chance. Apology accepted from the Austrian captain.
I couldn't agree with you more, Phil. Game like this, damage already done. I think Tite has seen enough of the rhythm and the fluidity and the danger from his team. So well offside, and I think he'll start to bring some of his diamond players off protection mode.
Just on the turn, maybe.
Close.
Brazil now making its first 2 changes. Marquinhos the first. The PSG defender coming in for his club teammate, Thiago Silva. And then the other, Fernandinho, he'll slide into the midfield. And it will be Casemiro who exits. So Marquinhos' 26th cap for the 24-year-old. Well, Fernandinho gets appearance number 44. The 33-year-old from Man City.
Just in the exits there, you see the respect and the appreciation for this coach from the Brazilian players, Phil. Don't underestimate that. This is a true team, all on the same page and singing the same song for their coach.
William almost gets a second bite at the apple. On the over, here's Marquinhos. And if Danilo does struggle, remember Marquinhos has played a bit of right back himself.
Yeah, nicely flexible, but to the point of that response from this Brazilian side for one another, for the team performance. The star power is evident in a lot of teams, Phil, but it's the team. It's always the collective.
Coutinho, a roller.
And it's always going to be the team that has that I believe is going to be the most successful. It was personified at the last World Cup with Germany, who had nowhere near the star power of a lot of the teams. The dependability on one player, or even two or three. In Argentina's type of example, how much of a test is that going to be? The team collective is truly, in tournament competitions, absolutely imperative. Brazil seem to have both the star power, the collective, the coach, the style of play, the threat. It seems to be all there. We'll see if it's enough.
Big touch inside, laid back for Arnautovic, chipping it in, but didn't quite get enough bend. Marcelo there. Proto taking some weight off. Beautiful turn, Baumgartlinger. Laid off top of the box, trying to come back to it, Hierlander. But now there's some space opening up. Paulinho in, sliding in Dragovic.
Wonderful run from Neymar, just couldn't get the accuracy there.
Willian
Paulinho
with Neymar.
does here.
Neymar. Oh! He makes the defense disappear and then slots it through Lindner for Brazil's second. What a goal from Neymar.
Witchcraft is what it is, Phil. Brazil at his best. And he will love this. What a confidence booster from the glitter bomb that is Neymar. Again, somebody should set this goal to the raid of the Valkyries, because it is phenomenal. Take a look. The pass doesn't get through from Paulinho, but then Willian sees the open invitation in the back post. Watch. We skip the light. Fantastic. He absolutely sends a defender off balance just by looking at him. Take a look at this. Dragovic, his knees turn to water. Hocus pocus from Brazil. And again, somebody get a sparkle count on that genius. And then in the end, the finish is as cool as a polar bear's backside from Neymar Jr., the PSG Koh-i-Noor diamond, and the hope for Brazil, the pure inspiration. What a goal.
Somewhere Jerome Boateng gave a shudder. 55th goal for Neymar. Choked up about it. Now tied with Romario. Not bad company. Behind only Ronaldo and Pelé in the all-time Brazil scoring list.
Again, the style points from this man.
And there's more of them. Out wide, 4v2. Willian, the back heel. Paulinho denied by Lindner, and Proto sweeps it clear.
Wonderful build-up. Again, rabbit hole attack. Again, too many burrows to cover. Wonderful consideration again. Magic from Willian, and the step through is right down Main Street. Just kind of get the angle away from the goalkeeper with his first time touch. But the build-up, tremendous again from the Canarino, who are playing like a bird of paradise.
Peter Jules checking in. 25 years of age, his birthday yesterday, and a gift, a chance to suit up against Brazil. Steps into the midfield for Grealish. Quick touch into the middle. Jules keeping it alive.
Good example of Coutinho dropping back in defense. It wasn't classic defending. because that's not what he's about, but his nuisance value and his willingness to respond to a counter-attack that will please Chiche. Look at these players coming in.
Felipe Luis will be checking in for Marcelo. What a comeback by the Atleti defender with a broken leg late in the season. And Marcelo,
Phil. The wonderful Marcelo. Again, you saw the sparkle come out at the apex of his game still. Look at this. And don't underestimate it. There is a togetherness and a tightness with this group. Is it going to be enough when you blend in the magic? The likes of this man coming in for that man. Like for like in a lot of ways. Not in their manner of football, but in the brilliance within their football and feet and brain. The divine connection, Phil, of the eyes to the brain to the beautiful feet.
Into the area, touch back, top of the box. Willian finds Coutinho, but Austria gets it back. Not to be lost in the shuffle in that Neymar goal. The man that many would look at this Brazilian side and say, you know what, what's he doing out there? Willian finds a way.
Well, there's been people that we know complain about the lack of end product with Willian from his Chelsea days, but not for me. He fits in hand in glove, but Chiche got a lot of considerations to go with. Picking the team from this Aladdin's cave of jewels, not easy. Willian pulls on that yellow shirt. He's really got a lot to bring to the dance.
Austria unbeaten in their last 9 at home. It looks like that's about to go down against Brazil here, but more than a gutsy effort, an entertaining one, promising for the future. Looks like Brazil's future is now.
That's been a tremendous warm-up game, dress rehearsal for showtime, and look, they're in again.
Slotted forward for Coutinho, scrambling around and tucks it far post, leaving Austria in his wake.
Again, Coutinho. Wonderful in the identifying. He leaves the defenders with twisted blood. Wonderful pace, and the Chief likes that all right. Lovely back heel flick. The give and go is the Brazilian way, like a gazelle being hunted down by a stack of cheetahs. Roberto Firmino leads the line. Coutinho says, throw me the keys, pal, and I'll kiss this one home. Wonderful. Again, look at the nerve of a cat burglar from Coutinho. The Chief.
Well, I have a feeling all of the wine houses around have figured out how to make caipirinhas. Either that or the Brazilians might just take over the bar. But the party starting in Vienna. Kevin Danso, the Ghanaian Austrian, born in the Vienna region, getting a chance, just his 6th appearance as Austria clears the bench. Paulinho out wide. Firmino wants it. Willian dispossessed by Schul.
Wins it back and wins the ball. Focus, commitment, brilliance, organisation, skill, flair, tenacity. This team showed it all in their final warm-up, so Switzerland knows something wicked's coming their way in the opener in Russia.
Is there a team that can beat this Brazil
What, in that group?
in this tournament?
Well, of course.
Remember, this Austria just beat Germany.
Yeah, but still, tournament football on any given day is the game. You've seen what happened with Portugal, for example, in the Euros. Did it in a different way, but went through and caught a wave. Momentum is a big, big part of any tournament football. So it all depends, but given the shape and the look of this Brazilian side, they're favourites. They're clear favourites over everybody. And it's understandable why. It's not just the talent, it's the way they progressed in the South American qualifiers. They were indomitable, they were unstoppable. And with every hurdle and challenge that they've met, again, I go back to that Croatia game, Phil. That Croatian team pressed them like demons. And it could have been a little different of a result, but it wasn't. Croatia pulled out a lot of their starring players before the goals went in, I believe. My memory serves. So, on an off day against the right team, it's football, man. And the road to a World Cup championship is treacherous. Argentina thought they had it all last year, lost a couple of players in the final. Aguero, Maria, and proved a bridge too far for even the best player in the world in Lionel Messi to carry them over the line. It's a Rubik's Cube, but he has a real answer to all the questions. So we're all looking forward to it, but this Brazil team, again, answer any questions. They are ready.
He's leaving Neymar out there for a while. Firmino. Paulinho bursts into the 18, tries to play it square, and the newcomer Danso parries it away.
Good covering. The industrious Paulinho, ex-Corinthians man, of course, in his great Brazilian days. Won the Libertadores with them before going elsewhere. But has been tremendous for Barcelona in his own way. Such
Brazil.
Energy, Phil. And
Neymar.
Late arriving runs open things up.
Oh, Coutinho. He saw it in his eyes, but he couldn't find the net. Missing it by the thickness of the post.
Seen him identify this so many times. He does it his way. It's all placement and it's all brilliant. Wonderful skill, visionary football, lynx eye vision, and then the touch of the ball, soft as a mother's kiss at bedtime.
And linked lynxes with Neymar. Ball touched back. Brazil in Group E. That means their first knockout stage match would be against Group F. Unlikely to see them finish second, although you never know. If they do, that could mean a showdown against Germany again. A little too early for Brazilians' likings. If they do finish in first place, that would mean the likes perhaps of a Mexico or a Sweden, maybe a South Korea.
Well, nicely framed, Phil, and that's why they will be fully focused and locked in to winning the group entirely.
Play on. No foul, says Kasai. Willian. Firmino once. Looked wide, Danilo. In for Firmino, but a lunging tackle by Podol, and he's starting to cramp up.
And a lot of covering, a lot of chasing shadows. Big Sebastian, the Watford lad, as Coutinho exits after this wonderful piece of jackrabbit pace, and then the placement, just something to behold. Uses the old Jedi mind trick on the goalkeeper, Linda.
Tyson Barcellos Freda, his 8th appearance, the 30-year-old from Shakhtar.
Better performance from Coutinho all around, Phil, from the last game at Anfield, where he was decidedly out of tune in many, many ways, but bounced back with a vengeance. And again, Chiche giving the confidence to the players, not turning away from a player that probably needed a little bit of a boost after that Anfield game against Croatia.
This will swing in. Former Inter Porto Alegre winger drives it low. It's a second effort, but then Baumgartlinger touches back to midfield.
Impressive and as admirable as the Canarino have done. There's a lot of pride from Austria that can be taken, especially in that first half, before the little bit of naughtiness that lasted only for 10 or 15 minutes before they started to put the sword back in the scabbard. They played some lovely football themselves, and with a little bit more support of Arnautovic up front, could have led to something else. But better days, brighter days ahead for Burston. Am I saying that right, Phil?
Well, these two teams have met in the World Cup before, back in '78. My beloved Hansi Krankel, as you pointed out, plus Petsai, Prohaska, etc. They some pretty legendary Brazilians in their own right. Roberto Dinamite scoring the only goal of that match. And then you go back into the 1958 World Cup. Altafini with a couple, and Nilton Santos scored the third. Will this be a legendary Brazil? And it might not be fair, but many times, especially with a history book as rich as Brazil's, you have to win to get in. Soft into the corner from Liner, trying to cut it back was Hirlander, but can't.
Well, after all the belly aching and the upsets and all of the crying from the likes of the United States and Italy and the Netherlands and some great African teams, in all due respect to them, to not see Brazil at the World Cup, I think they may cancel the World Cup.
Almost.
Those iconic shirts, of course, those great colours. My days as a kid, '66, watching Garrincha. And then May the greatest World Cup in 1970, where arguably the greatest footballing team ever put together took place in Pele's 1970. Incredible championships. It was the manner of their football. You couldn't wait for the games to finish, to go in the park with your friends. My sister was kind enough to give me her yellow blouse, and I was happy to wear it. And man, you just wanted to be Pele, Phil. You just wanted to be. I even used to get a crucifix and a St. Christopher around my neck, because all the Brazilians had those wonderful jewelries around the neck. It would pop out of that beautiful yellow shirt, and it was something special. Nowadays, it's very difficult to relate to, because you are watching football from the stars that you never saw in your home country. But when you watch Brazil, you were watching the gods of the game play a football that was just divine.
Sliding into the center for Hirlander, long range, and Allison tested.
His ankle's
taps
fine.
it over.
His ankle's fine. This is a stinger from distance. Beautiful strike.
Not bad for a guy with just one cap. Hirlander coming close to his first goal.
Absolutely wonderful technique. Lovely placement. That's dropping in under the bar, and Allison, 6'3", needed agility of a cheerleader on a trampoline needed.
And after the corner, almost got another, but still 3-0 Brazil. Wide for Stefan Leiner. Baumgartlinger Sweeps into the middle, but
well played.
Jules did not hear the footsteps.
And a great ball.
Wide. Tyson. Back for
Brilliant.
Neymar. Drops for Firmino. And what a save by Lindner.
Brazil at their best. At their absolute shimmering best.
We'll show you the Brazil, but that's what happened after the initial Irlander shot.
What was that about?
Because we missed it during the replay.
Oh, we needed to see that. I want to see that build up to that incredible kaleidoscopic football from the Canarino. Again, it's bewitching, bewildering. And it almost led to the best goal of the game. Are you sure that Linda saved it, Phil? I think he did with the outstretched boot. But at first I thought it might have struck the upright. But what football!
Well,
again, it's not just Brazilian coffee house tricks, people. It's with an intention of stripping and opening you up with the Brazilian way. The back heel flicks, the touches, soft as a lover's kiss, the running off the ball, the identifying of it all. Flipping magic.
I used to say Brazil was everyone's second favorite team. That might be shortchanging them, except perhaps for Argentina.
Yeah.
Laid back again. Neymar winds to the 18. Coronel does well, guiding his clearance. Arnautovic, he's still out there. Drives it, switching fields, but just too far.
It's a lad watching called Greg Madison. I just want to send out my love to you, Greg. And him and his girlfriend, Sammy, will be applauding this. They love the game and they will be smiling. Greg, I know you've been through a tough time, but this will cheer your heart to some degree. So good luck. Keep your chin up, man.
Douglas Costa, who is coming back from an injury, getting a chance to get a run out with Neymar exiting. Played the second half.
Played
their last time out.
Played the second half.
Lit the world on fire in the second half at his return.
Thank you.
And today, 84 minutes of even more effervescent football.
Well said, Phil. Well said.
Costa getting his 25th cap, the 27-year-old from Juve. Another player out of that Shakhtar pipeline. On the turn, Schul. Sneaks it inside. Cutting back, Bergstaller. Flipped to the middle by Baumgartlinger, but there was no one there. Now Willian with his foot on the accelerator. Tyson. Thought about it. Dishes wide. Firmino back. And cleared before Willian can shoot. Just like the old days.
It's a great run from Tyson, wasn't it? Wonderful alacrity. And the ball tattooed, all smiles. They've tasted the bitterness and the shock of football as well. And I keep saying it, that Germany undressing is seared into their brains, and they will remember it, and it will be doing the rounds in the locker room at some point before every game. Never again. We will see.
And in some ways, getting into some debates about the decision to exclude David Luiz. Not that he would be a starter, and maybe not even the first defender off the bench, but with all that he brings to the table, they decided to go with Pedro Jeromel instead. And you almost wonder if it's because every time they look at David Luiz, they think 7-1. So maybe nothing against him, just take that out of the equation. Regardless, the defense with another shutout bid here today. Arnautovic to the inside, whacks from distance, and almost sneaks it in.
The hammer unloads moves. Wonderful skip here. Fabulous technique. It's the snap right here. And a wonderful directive that really tests Alisson, who might have had it covered had it been on target. And that's an even bigger compliment to him, because Marco was really like Zorro there. Wonderful rapier hit, combining sledgehammer power.
Stolen again in the midfield. Brazilian class showing on the day, but I think Foda still with some promise. Just a while before they get a chance to do it for real. Offside against Arnautovic. Gabriel Jesus scoring in the 36th. Neymar the 63rd. Coutinho the 69th. So it was still 1-0 at the hour mark.
Stayed the goal scorers, Phil, and behind that 3-0, there was so many beautifully constructed efforts. He's in again, he's off. But the combination play and the footballing IQ of these Brazilians, that national fervour is backed up by just some of the best football you'll ever see. Arguable who is the best football strip in the World Cup. These shirts in yellow and that beautiful blue and white, so good. But Peru as well, Phil.
They could be entertaining, although a bit of a struggle in their final game.
Yeah, they played well though. Some very good football by Peru. And
taking on Sweden, who showed their defensive prowess.
Sure.
But again, it's not just defense, though, Ray. You talked about Brazil, but you could say in many ways this France side might be the most entertaining since the days of Platini. You look at Belgium as they are blossoming into their own. There's some teams out there who are playing the beautiful game the way it should be.
Well, and they do it their way. Again, I think these small nations in this World Cup, the smaller, more or less heralded teams, are going to be constructed very defensively.
Douglas Costa deflected, and Linder there.
But no matter what type of defense is thrown up, this team in yellow could get themselves into Fort Knox. And here's another example of how they do it. Oh, man. They're like marbles on a glass table coming at you.
7 saves for Linder, the 27-year-old. Just 19 caps. I have a feeling it's going to be his job for a while. 90th minute approaches. 15 shots to 6.
Well, as this game enters its final moments, an applaudable, impressive win by Brazil. There'll be tougher games to come. Even in their group, they will be thrown down some serious challenges from some very well organized teams defensively. How long can you hold on against this type of attack?
Well, Ian Linder has to be safe. Parries it over the crossbar.
Have they got the defense to back this Stardust football going forward? If you look at the records and your statistics, Phil, his team was as good as anybody in world football in qualifying in a defensive mode.
So Edu Gaspar, the coordinator, right next to Tite as that shot sails high. He's the one that helped put together this run of friendlies down the stretch and testing themselves against the likes of an Austria, Croatia, Germany, and Russia, and winning all 4. The only team that gave them more of a problem than many expected was England, and that 0-0 draw maybe giving English fans a bit of hope. starts for Brazil on Sunday, a week from today, against Switzerland in Rostov. Of course, don't forget, pretty big day also on Wednesday in Russia, where they will announce the host of the 2026 World Cup, and we've got a special show, so you'll want to stay tuned and go to bnsports.com for more. The final whistle from Vienna, and it is a good night for Brazil. 3-0 the final.
Franco Foto can be proud of the way his team played. In many regards, the version really threw down a gauntlet to Brazil, and Brazil took that gauntlet and made it their Brazilian yo-yo. Magic from Marcelo, and the great Neymar. The combination put together from Tite was radiant and impressive from the early stages. Willian identifying the late arriving Madridista and say, can you pull this one off? And he comes within a frog's hair of finding the target. This is good combination play between Schopf-Finlena. Arnautovic is close, and he'd be closer later on. A good game by the West Ham United man, and just wasn't able to adjust his gyroscope to put this one away. A popping ball. And Coutinho waits until the window of opportunity presents itself and cannot find a trigger. Danilo was out wide begging for it, but the Barcelona man thinks he can get it. Well saved by Linda. This one is very close to finding the target. Again, Linda does well. Dragovic reaches in as well. Once he gets through, he's offside. The flag doesn't come up. Dragovic smells danger, tries to come across. Then it takes a touch off Heinz. Marcelo triggers this one home. It would fall beautifully for Gabriel, who's an absolute angel with this finish. Sees the target, and it isn't a big one. You can see it again. It's clearly offside when the ball struck, but then he's got a lot from this angle to put this one away. He makes it look easy peasy lemon squeezy. Fabulous ball here. One touch to caress it, and then puts Dragovic on his back like a turtle. And really, Neymar, exquisite, but the audacity of him. And you see this. Pauls hesitates, and Dragovic loses his balance looking at this wonderful player whose feet were scintillating. Look at this, Roberto Firmino and Coutinho skipping the light. Fantastic, Phil. Beautiful. Abracadabra. Brazil. 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 On their final warm-up game, the curtain will raise in Russia. Brazil are ready.
Well, 10th goal for Gabriel Jesus and Coutinho. 55th for Neymar. Just Pelé and Ronaldo await. But so does Russia, and a date with destiny.